My name is Alexis Bateman, and today we're going to talk about critical thinking. You may find yourself wondering why it's important and why do we need to address critical thinking in a course on supply chain dynamics. Hopefully by the time we reach the end of this recitation, you will understand why. Up until this course and the previous courses in this series, a lot of what we have taught has had the right answer. You might learn a model, apply it, and produce the right answer generally. These are really excellent learnings that will help you throughout your career as supply chain professionals. However, we know that in most cases in our day to day, there isn't a right answer. The answer isn't clear, much less the problem. This means that when we are faced with an unclear issue, we have to think a little bit more critically about what the problem is, what are its root causes, what are the appropriate actions, and what consequences might those actions have. We all make many decisions throughout our everyday, which have significant impacts across our organizations and beyond. Are those decisions always well thought out? Do they have outcomes we would like? Do they solve the problem even? This is where critical thinking comes in. Many times we're faced by pressures and deadlines which force us into making a decision that could have negative impacts, which might even outweigh the original decision that we had to make. We see this in the news every day. 51 million vehicles were recalled last year as a result of faulty operation. Somewhere in the world, someone was forced to make a decision they had not clearly thought out here, and the ramifications were huge. This is obviously an extreme case, but it makes the point that before making a decision, we must think critically to ensure we have thought it out. So, what is critical thinking? There are many, many perspectives on critical thinking, ranging from philosophy to leadership. I won't even try to give you all the perspectives on critical thinking in this recitation, because we would really be here all day. What I want to offer is some insight into what critical thinking is, some approaches you can apply in the immediate term, and some insights in the value of critical thinking. Based on literature and management insight, critical thinking can be thought of being made up of four components: questioning assumptions, adopting different perspectives, seeing potential, and managing ambiguity. Intuitively, this probably makes sense, but do we think about these things each time we make a decision? Probably not. First would be to question assumptions. Before we assume something is the right approach or the right question or the right answer, we need to take some time to dig in more. We also only commonly view all issues from our own perspective. And as we all are aware, many others don't share the same perspective as our own. So it's useful to think from a different perspective when you're addressing an issue. We can also see the potential when we are thinking critically. Instead of seeing a problem as a hurdle to jump over, we can maybe see it as an opportunity to learn more and identify root causes that might fix a bigger array of problems. And finally, critical thinking, as we all know as supply chain professionals, is being able to manage ambiguity as we are faced every day. These are just an overview of really what critical thinking is, but we're going to dig deeper into this and how it applies in supply chain as we get into the strategies. Noam Chomsky, a noted MIT professor and notorious critical thinker, offers some advice on thinking critically. I try to encourage people to think for themselves, to question standard assumptions. Don't take assumptions for granted. Begin by taking a skeptical attitude toward anything that is conventional wisdom. Make it justify itself. It usually can't. Be willing to ask yourselves about what is taken for granted. Try to think things through for yourself. If Noam Chomsky can't convince you, then here are a few more reasons that critical thinking might influence your work every day as a supply chain professional. Every day there will be new demands requiring extensive amount of information. Where's the data? How can I get it? How do I analyze it? There are multiple departments involved in problem-solving efforts and multiple stakeholders involved. This means multiple biases, objectives, goals, and approaches involved. There are also many trade-offs. Do I want to sacrifice efficiency for cost or quality for efficiency? And many times you may not have the information you need at the right time. So how do you think critically and intelligently about a problem? With round-the-clock work schedules, pressure for transparency, immediacy of social media, we are under more significant scrutiny than ever before to make the right decision at the right time in the right way. You may say, but this really doesn't affect me. But it does. Since 2009, job search requests, critical thinking as a request for a skill has doubled since 2009. This means that if you are looking for a job or may even change jobs or looking for a promotion, being a critical thinker is a serious value. Recruiters and HR often complain that candidates are sharp and are able to memorize or regurgitate information, but are really unable to succeed at deep problem solving.